Look at my poor Exerion cart. Shortly after I bought it, it fell from a table onto my hardwood floor and that cracked off. When I decided to start this project, I tried to get another copy, but somebody bought the cheap one that I found. To the person who bought that $2 copy of Exerion in early December 2020, I hope you enjoyed it. There aren't a lot of us Famicom collectors in the US, and I never feel bad missing out on something like that, knowing it's going to someone else who's in the same boat. And I know it went to a collector because there's no other reason anyone would bother buying a copy of Exerion. Exerion brings a new major third-party publisher to the Famicom. This is Jaleco's first game for the system, and don't hold its quality against them. There's a few major publishers we're going to see that released some pretty terrible games in 1985, but then by the end of the Famicom's life are making some of the best. Not everybody can hit the ground running like Namco did. This is also our first encounter with Tosei in this project. The mercenary development house is going to be responsible for a lot of terrible things on the system. Exerion started out as an arcade shooter, and it was mainly notable for its kind of impressive for 1983 graphics. This is actually Exerion's second console port. It was also an early title for Sega's SG-1000. In the US, Nintendo forced licensees to not port games to other systems. But in 1985, those were things that were still being worked out. Before I get into the Famicom game, I need to talk a moment about the packaging. Jaleco chose to manufacture their own cartridges, and so they have their logo molded into the plastic. The back of Jaleco cartridges are kind of neat. They have the instructions on how to play. Finally, let's take a really good look at that label. Despite what's on the label and the box, there are no F-14 Tomcats fighting mechanical space dragons in this game. Strip away the fancy backgrounds, and Exerion is a single-screen shooter in the mold of Galaxian. The enemy ships in this case just don't go into formation. This is one of the few times in the early Famicom days where the manual gives us a story. In Universal Century 2991, the 6th planet Exerion of Blue Galaxy CP-17 Zenith was attacked by the once-friendly 7th planet Zorni. To defeat them, the Exerions build a state-of-the-art spaceship called Fighter EX. Look, I never said it was much of a story, just that they had a story. There's two methods of attack in the game. Pressing the B button fires 2 shots at once, but you can only fire one of those attacks at a time. Pressing the A button fires a single beam, but it's a rapid-fire shot. The rapid-fire cannon has limited ammo, but you gain 1 shot for every enemy you shoot down. So if you're a real sharpshooter, you could use the rapid shot exclusively. What you'll probably want to do, though, is use the double shot early on to build up some ammo, and then break out the rapid shot when you're dealing with masses of erratically moving enemies. And speaking of being a sharpshooter, the score for every enemy that you shoot down increases the longer that you do not miss a shot. The really memorable thing about Exerion is the control scheme. I get what they were trying to do with it. Your ship in Exerion has a lot of inertia to it, so it slowly accelerates when you push in a direction, and slowly decelerates when you let it go. That might have worked, except the enemies and their shots don't move in the same way that your ship does. When you push to the edge of the screen with the ship, you're clearly scrolling things. But the shots stay exactly on course. You can wind up effectively fixed in place when it looks like you're moving. I found it easier to dodge shots moving vertically than horizontally. The inertia isn't quite so bad with those. And that movement makes Exerion extremely difficult to play. If you were to just pop in a cartridge or pick a ROM out of a list and try this, my guess is you'd die in 30 seconds and then give up on the game immediately. Enemies in Exerion come in waves of 8, If you kill all of them, the next wave continues, but also, if you die, you automatically go on to the next wave. There's 4 waves of enemies per stage, and on the final wave, a 3-headed dragon flies in to shoot at you. It only takes 1 shot to kill it, so it's not really a boss, but it is more aggressive than some of the other enemies. There are 8 stages in Exerion before the game loops, although only 4 backgrounds. The enemies on the 4th and 8th stages are especially bad. They take multiple hits to destroy, and fire shots that boomerang, dropping down and then swerving back up. If you survive 4 stages, then you go into a bonus stage that's identical to the ones from Galaxian and Galaga. You have unlimited rapid fire here, and you get 1 additional rapid fire shot for every enemy you shoot down in the stage. There is a secret bonus in Exerion as well. If you fulfill a special condition on each stage, a wave of 4 special ships will show up. I tried to find out what those conditions are, but nobody seems to have documented it. And that kind of sums up Exerion. It's a real why would anyone care about this game? When I search for it in Japanese, by the 3rd page of results I'm already getting things that are completely unrelated. This is a game that's not bad enough to be memorable, and not good enough that anyone would ever really want to play it.